It's time for the Money Puzzle Podcast. With good conversations and realistic solutions to the money puzzles we all face every day. I'm your host, financial advisor, chartered financial consultant, and president of EDGIN Insurance and Financial, Robert EDGIN. Now let's get this show started. Hi there, hello, and welcome to the Money Puzzle Podcast. I am Robert EDGIN, and I'll be your guide for the ride for the next few minutes. Each week, we look at a different piece of the money puzzle and practical ways to solve it so you can have the financial confidence you deserve and the future that you dream of. This is episode number 16, which is hard to believe. And today we're talking about the real reasons that everyone should have a written financial plan. What goes into it? What do you need? What can you skip over? And what does it even really do for you? I am joined by my business pal from another gal, Brian Johnson from the Denver office. Thank you for driving down for the morning.
Absolutely. It always makes me laugh when you say that.
I know. I love that. Yeah. You're so easy. I say the same.
I am easy.
I say the same thing, and you laugh every time. That's fantastic. Took Brian on the Manitou Incline for the very first time ever today.
No, he didn't take me on. I kind of followed.
You followed me up?
I don't know. I didn't see you very much.
You made it.
I did.
Yep. The Manitou Incline, if you've never done it, it's 1 mile, like almost straight up, heading up towards Pikes Peak. It is a definite challenge. 1 mile up, 3 miles down, but you made it. You didn't die. You survived.
Nope.
And then we celebrated with an amazing breakfast afterwards.
We did.
So, and now it's here we are. It's time to work.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm excited to get into today's conversation. But before we do, I do a lot of reading and research, and I come across different articles that catch my eye. So I thought we would take a minute to look at some news. All right. So today's news headline comes from NBC News, and the headline reads, Massachusetts man says someone broke into his home and cleaned it. He says that the intruder made all the beds, neatly stacked his son's stuffed animals, and left an origami rose on the toilet paper. Nate Roman, age 44, out of Massachusetts, says he came home with his 5-year-old son on May 15th. The back door was open. Nothing was damaged. Nothing was taken. It was just all arranged in a really creepy way, he told NBC News. He said that they did inspect the house. Okay. He smelled bleach and other cleaning solvents. He could tell that the place had been cleaned up. He did love the origami rose on his toilet paper, but he did say that everything was clean, but they did not clean the kitchen.
Oh,
so for
pigs.
I don't understand it.
How dare they?
So someone broke. Are you mad or are you happy that someone broke into your house and cleaned it?
Oh, I would just be mad.
You would still be mad?
Oh, yeah. Why? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I live in the middle of nowhere. Somebody coming into my house is just not right.
If I can find these people to break into my house and clean it, I mean, why would I not want that? That's amazing. We pay for those things here in the city.
In the city, you do. That's right.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids.
Okay. Well, you're paying a lot.
Paying a lot per hour.
I have 2 questions that I want answered. The first is, why the heck didn't they clean the kitchen? I mean, who starts with the bedrooms? Why would you not clean the kitchen first?
Here's what happened. They cleaned the kitchen first. They went to the rest of the house. They got hungry, so they messed up the kitchen.
Maybe. I don't get it. Here's my other question. How do you learn how to fold that origami rose into your toilet paper? My wife would love that if she came home and made origami roses on the toilet paper.
What are we recording? I think it's called YouTube.
You think we can find it on there?
I'm sure.
Right. I'm
maybe.
Gonna look. So,
maybe. I'm not sure.
It's a pretty interesting story with a picture of the origami rose. If you want the link to it, I'll have it in our show notes. But for now, let's go ahead and get on with today's hot topic.
Let's get her done.
All right, so today we're talking about why you need a written financial plan, or do you really even need one at all? And if so, what the heck should it look like? So, Brian, I think I know what your answer is going to be, but do you really need a written financial plan?
Well, sure. Of course, that's exactly what you thought I was going to say. Why is a road map to get you from A to B? We all know. We always use maps, right? Who doesn't use maps on their phone, whatever it is, to get to where you're going? Why would you not use a map to get where you want to be? Businesses do it all the time.
Well, yeah, you have a business plan.
Businesses do it. You do it when you go on a road trip. You do it when you go on vacation. It doesn't matter what you do. You have a map.
Why wouldn't you do it for your finances as well?
Right?
Because you really don't want to know.
Well, it's hard to do. But you're saying, yes, it is a good idea.
It's absolutely a good idea.
All right. And I'm going to say that you are in good company because here's a couple of articles that I found in kind of preparation for today. Forbes says, or their article is the 10 reasons why financial plans aren't just for the 1%. By the way, what do you think they mean by the 1% there? Are they talking about body fat?
Probably, and I'm not in that category.
So the Motley Fool says, do you have a financial plan? Here's why you need one. U.S. News, 6 reasons you need a financial plan. Nerd Wallet, what's a financial plan and why is it important? So basically, every financial magazine and publication out there all agrees with you. Everyone, regardless of your age or financial status, should have a financial plan.
Well, absolutely. You need to know where you're going, otherwise you won't know how to get there, right?
Or even if you did get there.
Yeah.
So, all right. So,
that's a great question.
Let's break down a few reasons why it's important to have a financial plan and what they can do for you.
Gotcha.
I think that we came up with about 6 reasons. So let's run through them. Number 1 being feeling more confident. Right. Or more confident about your finances.
Right. Yeah. And it is so. Just think about, I guess, driving across the country. What direction are you going to go? Maybe you go east if you're on the west coast like we are, or we're in the center, right? But without that plan, how are you going to feel confident that you're going to get to New York City if you never take a look on where you're going?
So, absolutely. That makes total sense. And there are some good statistics that back that up. For example, from TD Ameritrade, they say that 85% of people with a plan feel that they have a good grasp on their investments or their chances of retiring, whereas only 28% of those without a plan feel the same way.
Right.
So that's almost a 60% difference from people who have a plan and people who do not. Yep. They also say that those with a plan are also more likely to say that they're living comfortably, 48% versus 22%. And they say 64% of Americans with a plan feel that they have a good grasp on their investments as well. So there's a lot of research that says just having a written plan is going to give you that financial confidence. So I think so being financial, which is really, that's a big part of why we do what we do for this show. That's we want our clients and everyone that we work with and talk to be financially confident. Even more remarkable, they say, people with a plan making between $50,000 and $100,000 are still more likely to live comfortably in retirement than people without a plan making $100,000 plus.
That's right.
So even people, because I hear this all, I don't make enough money to have a plan. Even people with less money are living more comfortably than those with more if they have a plan.
That's right.
So it's all about being financially confident. So, okay, that's reason number 1. Brian, how about reason number 2?
Defining goals, right? When we talk about plans, the goals are the number one thing that we talk about. Obviously, we want to know what the end is, what it could possibly look like. But in the road, we've got all these short, little, small steps that we need to take, mile markers, I guess you call them. We keep talking about roads. We need to meet this goal, then we have this goal, and we have this goal. A lot of it is, are we moving in 5 years? Are we moving in 3 years? Are we staying here forever?
It's helping you define your goals.
Yeah.
I have clients a lot of times who say things like, really, I want to be rich. Well, okay, but what does that mean?
Right. What does it mean? No, it's different for everybody.
There's no definition to rich.
Not. No.
There's no exact dollar amount that makes you rich. Or I love it. I have clients say, really, I just want to retire wealthy. Well, what does that look like?
What is wealthy? I mean, there are people out there, and I've run into them, where they have $10 million and they don't feel like they have enough.
So
other people have $10 million and feel great.
So defining your goals and knowing if you're on track or if they're realistic based on your timeline. I know you were telling me that story about the client you were just working with about should I save more money? Right. Because how did that go?
So real quick, we've talked about a financial plan several times. We do manage their assets, right? But we talked about a financial plan, and I got an email saying, hey, here's this statement. Do I have enough money to retire? I don't know. we've never created a plan. It was never a priority per se for the client to want a plan. They just wanted to invest their money.
So their retirement is not defined.
It is not defined.
Therefore, how can you answer the question if you don't have a definition of what the answer is?
I mean, we can figure out based on the money they have currently what could possibly be in the future. But what age are you going to retire? Where are you going to live? Do you have big aspirations to travel a lot, to buy a motorhome? I don't know. So is the dollar amount going to be enough? Healthcare, that's always a big topic.
So it helps you define your goals so that you have an idea of where you're going and what you need to do. I kind of look at it as, you're right, it's a long-term roadmap is what a financial plan is, with a series of a bunch of short sprints, kind of that lead up to where it's kind of like it's an outline of what you want to accomplish. But it might not be, a financial plan maybe isn't, the thesis with every single thing because, it's well,
goals change.
Goals change.
Yeah, so we want to meet those medium ones, but things happen in life and goals change. What you want to do today, say me at 46 years old, may not be what I want to do at age 60.
Yeah.
Right? Who knows?
So defining your goals. Okay. All right. And that kind of leads us into what I think another great reason to have a financial plan, and that's to maximize your money.
Right.
This is, are you invested the right way for you specifically? Do you have money going into stocks versus bonds? Do you have it invested, in growth versus conservative? Well, how should I invest? Well, I don't know. That depends. What are we trying to achieve? What are your goals? I had a client come to me not all that long ago where they get a 6% match in their 401k. And so they were contributing 6% and taking that free money that their employer offered to them, but they wanted to save more. So they came to me and they said, hey, I'm going to bump my 401k up to 10%. And we analyzed it. We looked at it and we found out in order for them to maximize their money, it was better for them to take that extra 4% that they were going to put in their 401k and put it in a Roth IRA to deal with some tax efficiencies.
Right.
But the way that we maximize their money is by knowing what it needs to do. And then a financial plan can help us determine what is the best way to make your money work the hardest for you.
That's right.
Did I miss anything on that?
No. Also, maybe types of assets that you would invest in. So something to think about, because a 401k Roth IRA is just a wrapper. It tells the IRS the tax status of that money is all it is. So, but what type of investment? So, if you're like me that loves to be crazy aggressive, totally different than maybe for you.
Well, or even just for the goal, your specific goal. Because I know, you say that you're crazy aggressive. In reality, I know how you invest your money. You have a very well thought out plan for some of your investments are aggressive and some are conservative. And, you enjoy that investment process. In fact, that conversation we had this morning, I consider you to be an excellent investment advisor.
Thank you.
Because you love to do that side of it.
Yep.
So, which is why we make great partners.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was the third reason. How about another great reason to have a financial plan?
Protecting yourself in the bad times, right? So that's all about diversification.
Diversification. You have market fluctuations.
You have market fluctuations all the time. We see it today.
So, well, that's right. I mean, you've got the stocks going up, the stocks going down. And one of the conversations that I know we have to have with clients all the time is as you get older, you need to adjust your risk.
That's right.
Because if the stock market takes another, 2008-9 scenario, another great recession, where you are just about to retire and your money cuts in half.
Even better. What if you're retiring in January of 2019 and December comes along
of 2018
and the market goes down 22%?
Yeah.
Then, that's 1 month.
So how do you protect yourself from that? But it's also about, how do you protect your family from premature death?
That's right.
What happens if you don't make it to retirement age? What happens if you live too long?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Too long. What about a long-term care event?
So that's right. How about, well, here's a great example. I had a client that came in, they had roughly $1 million in the bank.
Right.
Okay. But we analyzed their insurance as a part of looking over everything. Their auto insurance, they had the state minimums in Colorado, which was $25,000, $50,000, which is not protecting them from that risk.
Right. You spill your coffee, and next thing you know, the $1 million gone.
So, or here's what really happened. Their son, unfortunately, was in a very bad accident. The son did die, which was very sad, but he also killed another individual and put a couple more in the hospital. Because we had met with the client and made some recommendations on his insurance coverage, that protected his $1 million, that he had sitting in the bank.
Sure.
So another great reason, protecting yourself, protecting your assets, protecting your way of life. You find those things and you put them into place through a financial plan.
Absolutely.
All right, that's 4 reasons. A 5th reason that comes to my mind is to manage your cash flow, which when you are in retirement, to me, cash flow is the most important part of your plan, because that is what pays you to live at the lifestyle that you want to live without going to work.
Right, exactly. But when you think about that cash flow, what don't you want to do? What do we have just this last week? We had one of our clients say, "Hey, I need so much every single month," and then all of a sudden it changed and it went up by 50%.
That's right. Now, will it work? Will it not work? Those are the things that your financial plan will tell you.
It does.
You need to be able to analyze and say, and this particular client, it's all right. Yeah, I need $5,000 a month to live out the life I want. Now, all of a sudden, I need $7,500 to live the life I want. Well, you need to be able to test that when you are in retirement to find out, if I take that much cash out of my plan, if I take those monthly paychecks with an extra $2,500, is it going to affect how long my money lasts?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. Some people want to just pull out a calculator and try to figure that out, but there's a lot of variables in there. I mean, healthcare is a big variable, right? You have taxes, that's another variable, because guess what happens when you start pulling more money out?
You got to pay more taxes.
You have to pay more taxes. How does that affect going into the future?
That's right.
Those are things that our financial plan will map out for us, not just using a calculator.
Yeah, cash flow is king. We've all hopefully heard that. But in retirement, cash flow is really like, the king, the queen, it's everything. That's right. Because what keeps you from going back to work is having a regular ongoing income and payment. That's called cash flow.
That's right.
So that's called cash flow. Okay. And then the 6th and final reason that I think is good to have a financial plan is for building a wealth and leaving a legacy.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the big things I always want to do for my kids, not that I want to make them wealthy when I die, but to have enough. What did Warren Buffett say? Give my kids enough, they can do anything, but not so much they'll do nothing. Absolutely.
And I kind of look at it with my kids. It's like, realistically, does the next generation have it harder or easier than us?
I don't know.
Well, I say harder.
My parents thought that. I think my life is much easier than what theirs was.
Well, that's because they spoiled you.
Okay.
So I think that the next generation, it's getting harder to, find jobs where you go to work for 30, 40 years. Pensions don't really exist anymore. Both of my kids, are kind of entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So they're having to do things themselves. How about the cost of healthcare for our children? It's expensive now. So if you want to make it a little bit easier on your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, then why not build some wealth and leave a little bit of legacy?
Right.
Maybe, like you said, not so that they have to do nothing, but so that they can do anything they want, or at least have a good life.
Yeah, and Warren Buffett coined that. That was a great statement that he talked about in his massive book that he wrote.
So I like somebody that we know, Van Miller.
Yeah.
He says, do you want your money to go to the government, the nursing home, or to your family?
Right.
Well, if you do nothing, it's probably going to go to the government or a nursing home.
Oh, yeah.
If you do a little bit of planning, it should go to your family.
Yep.
So that's why, and really a cool statistic about that. This also comes from that same TD Ameritrade study. I've got the link in the show notes. It says those with a plan have almost double the amount of retirement savings as those who do not have a plan.
Sure.
Now it still is maybe not where it should be. It's 460,000 versus 239,000, but still almost double just because they have a written financial plan.
That's right.
So, all right. So 6 reasons to have a financial plan. Brian, tell me, what age group do you think should have a financial plan?
When you get a job. So any age group.
That's right. Because when you're in your 20s, maybe your financial plan is looking at, college debt, student loans, buying a house, starting a family.
Just think, and I do this with my kids. When you get your first job, David, my oldest, guess what your first $2,000 is going to do, besides paying the government, right? It's your Roth IRA. Just think about what that will look like from 18 to, say, 67 years old, 68, 69, 70, because they're living longer.
Huge.
If you do only $2,000 a year, that's massive.
Oh, yeah. I was camping this weekend. I was having a conversation with my nephew, and he's just getting a job. They pay minimum wage, but they have a 401k, and they match up to 6%. So we actually ran the math, and here it is. He's a 19-year-old kid. And he's going to invest 6%. He's going to get a 6%. We ran the math at 7.5% interest per year. If he does nothing else, he still has over $1 million when he turns 65.
What better legacy can you really leave to your kids than the discipline of saving?
So that's a good one.
$2,000 at 18, that's nothing.
So I get it. I agree. So, all right. So that's some 6 reasons to have a financial plan, a written financial plan. I think that's important to note. And who should have it? What age? Everyone in the workforce should have it. That's right. No one who has a plan is worse off because they have a plan.
Right, and nobody ever regrets it.
So that's right. So, all right. That's it for today's Hot Topic, and that's all the time that we've got for today. I hope that it helped, and I hope that you all will come back and join me next week. But until then, make sure you join us on social media. We've got all of our links in the show notes. Please rate us and give us some stars on whatever app you listen to this podcast on, and share us with your friends.
Awesome.
So, absolutely. And if you've got questions about your own money puzzle, email them over to questions@yourmoneypuzzle.com. We've actually been getting some questions. Unfortunately, we're talking too long. We're not saving time to answer questions. So let's make sure we do that next time. So, got it. Until then, make it a great day and a great week, and go out and do something to improve your money puzzle. You'll be glad you did. See you soon.
Bye.
Registered representative of and securities offered through Securities Management and Research, Inc., SM&R. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through BFC Planning, Inc. EDGIN Insurance and Financial Services, Johnson Financial Services, SM&R, American National Family of Companies, and BFC Planning are independent entities. There are risks involved with investing which may include market fluctuation and possible loss of principal value. Particular investments may not be suitable for certain situations. Carefully consider the risks and possible consequences involved prior to making an investment decision. Our firm does not provide legal or tax advice. Be sure to consult with your own legal and tax advisors before taking any action that may have tax implications.